Welcome to Legacy in a Day, where we turn memory into momentum and story into strategy. I'm your host, Myeshia Babers, cultural strategist, preservationist, and firm believer that your family's past is a resource, not a relic. So, this show is about preserving what matters before it disappears, from heirlooms and home deeds to recipes, rituals, and real talk. Real talk.
Let's go.
And today I'm sitting down with one person who lives this work every day.
Okay,
So,
cool.
so let's get into it.
All right. My name is A.K. Babers. I am a Houston area realtor, an investor, and coach, and everything that's real estate. So I fell in love with real estate, and being in real estate, you actually kind of you get an opportunity to see how shit moves, right? You get a chance to see how money moves. You see how property moves. How one day this property ain't worth nothing. Somebody put some bricks and some wood on top of it, and next thing you know, you got something of value. It appreciates, it depreciates. I know how much power it has in our economy. You know what I mean? So it just makes you a smarter student. It made me a smarter student of the game and of life through this, through being a realtor and being an investor looking for distressed properties and stuff, I noticed, and kind of in a stark comparison in my same life, I noticed that as black and brown people, we are pretty much letting a lot of equity go. You know what I mean? We're pretty much not actually taking advantage of our 40 acres and a mule. We're pretty much letting it get away.
Yes.
We all know the stories about grandma house got foreclosed on, and now it's somebody came in, some white man that came and bought it for pennies on the dollar, and everybody, all the neighbors around him, totally upset because what he did. But in actuality, he didn't do that. He just playing the real estate game. You know what I mean? We gave it away
Yeah.
by not protecting our legacy.
When we first met, and you were telling me about all of these different things that had to do with home ownership and all the things I could do with different properties and what to look for, and do you just want to buy a single home, or do you want to buy a multifamily home and try to generate income that way? That approach to me reads that legacy has always been a part of your strategy when you're working with clients. And so my question is, like, why do you think it's always been that way for you?
Because I know the value of it. And I hate to see people renting for 20 years, you know what I mean, and throwing money away. And it's the old saying, you paying somebody's mortgage. You know what I mean? Literally, that's what it is. You know what I mean? You're going to pay my mortgage, or you're going to pay somebody else's mortgage. As a landlord, I felt it was important for anybody who buys a house to look at it as an investment. It's a living in your piggy bank. That's type of thing it is. We don't have a lot of vehicles as middle-aged African Americans that we know about that we can put our money into a safe place to do it. So if we're going to do it, we might as well do it safely and do it into a house where at minimum you get an appreciation, right? That's the legacy, you know what I mean? Then you talk about the seniors, and that's when you get to talking about the real legacy part about it.
Oh, yes, the seniors and the need or the power of continuing to be educated on these things as you get older, because we don't learn these things in school for
No.
sure. And in black and brown community, these aren't the conversations that we're having because priorities are elsewhere. So,
You know how they talk about compounding interest?
yes.
Just think about if we compound that knowledge.
What does that mean? What does that look like? Can you define compounding interest for the people?
Well, compounding interest is pretty much when you. I know I'm gonna screw this up, so nobody don't talk bad about me. But when you have a investment tool and say it gets 5% interest, then you leave that five. I mean, you get 5% on your return. You put that 5% back in there, right? And you just keep doing that over and over again. And the way that it multiplies exponentially. I feel like Ti exponentially, but and I said that wrong.
Listen, it's all right. We know what you're trying to say.
So how that compounds. So just imagine if we started having these conversations
Yes.
at the dinner table, or at the family reunion, or at the something. It ain't got to be nothing big. It ain't got to be nothing about, oh yeah, let's go buy this $400,000 house and flip it and everything. No, it could be like, hey grandma, what a deed at?
Yeah.
Hey grandma, do you got life insurance? You know what I mean? here's what a deed at. Instead of us just saying, "Oh, I think Big Mama give the house to you because you was the favorite, and you." Where's it on paper? Let's have those conversations and talk about where that stuff is, because this generation gonna start knowing a little bit more. This generation gonna start knowing a little bit more. This generation gonna start. That's how they got there. They didn't
Yeah.
start overnight. You know what I mean? They got there because they started having conversations.
I like how you put that earlier. What did you say? Compound knowledge?
Compounding knowledge.
Compounding
I
knowledge.
just came up with that, by the way. I call them AKisms.
AKisms. I like that too. All right. So, what top what top 2 to 3 things elders in our community often don't know or avoid that ends up putting their home at risk?
Okay, let's think about this a little bit. It's you did say top 2 or 3, so I would say title tune-up. So that means that same title when you bought the house in 1978 ain't gonna stay the same. The reasons why, because you got taxes that happen, you got liens, you got may have a contractor that put a roof on the house, and he didn't take the lien off when he was done. So now you've been carrying this lien, and now you get ready to sell it. Now you got to find out, you got to come out of pocket $12,000 out of your sale because you had this lien put on it. That's what a lien is, right?
Lord, yeah.
And in Texas, HOAs and contractors has it easy when it comes to putting liens on people's house. So a good contractor will pretty much do a big job. He'll get paid, gets down payment. He'll go down to the courthouse and put a lien on your house. That way, if anything happens in between that construction and you don't get paid, he gonna get paid whenever you get ready to sell that house. It might take 10, 20 years or whatever, but at least your money is there, right?
Right.
So that's what they do for protection. Now, when they get done and everything cool, they write a release of lien. They go down to the courthouse and they take it off, right?
Okay.
But if you're not tuning up, if you're not looking at that every 5 to 10 years, you don't even know they got it on that, because they ain't got to tell you or notify you.
Wait.
Yeah.
Back up.
Yeah.
So you could have a lien on your property.
Yes.
That you thought that you just owned
Yes.
outright and have no idea.
Have no idea. That's why we got to do the tune-up.
This is also the importance of that compounding knowledge and knowing where the documents are.
And knowing where the documents.
Not having to scramble for them after the loved one is passed, and forget whether or not they had it or not. Like, where are the documents?
And speaking of documents, so that's probably my number 2 thing, right?
Okay.
It'll be what I call people always want to do beneficiary. I would say shortcuts, right?
Okay.
That's when we at the kitchen table. We ain't talking real estate. We just talking about, man, if something happened to me, I'm gonna give it to Billy, because Billy go to church every Sunday. And everybody at the table, even though they hurt, but they know that grandma said Billy gonna get this house. No, you need to go fill out a TOD. You need to go put it in a trust. You need to go do something that's making sure that it's going to do that, not just word of mouth, right? So that's number 2. So we talked about title tune-up. We talked about the beneficiary shortcuts, property tax.
But before we get there, though, what is a TOD?
A TOD. So a TOD is an instrument to help, what I want to say, facilitate or bypass probate. So people use it to skip probate. So for most of us in middle class, African American, brown, black and brown neighborhoods, majority of our wealth is going to be in our house or in our car. We don't have well, some of us do, but most of us don't have assets like RVs and houses over here and houses over there. So there's no real reason to have a trust. Most of us don't even trust the will don't even trust lawyers, let alone go get a will done, right?
Right.
So a TOD is a 1-page document that you can go down. You could put on paper that says, as soon as I die, Myeshia gets my share of my house.
All right, now y'all heard that.
And you don't have to go through probate. You ain't got to do nothing. It's just Myeshia said on this paper, because once you fill it out, you got to go file it at the courthouse, right?
Right.
So upon your death, that transfer on death deed, that's what it's called a TOD, you could take it out and that house becomes yours as soon as you identify. You ain't got to go through no probate for the house. A lot of people think that wills bypass probate, but they don't. You still got to go through probate. The will is just pretty much a letter to the county that says, this is what I want you to do with my shit when I'm gone.
So you still end up in the court system
You
to
still
make
up
it
in the court system.
legal or official.
They make it legal official. So that's where the TOD comes in place because you don't necessarily have to do all that. You know what I mean? But best believe you're gonna get all those taxes and everything else that come with that.
They come with, yeah, absolutely. All right, so your third thing.
What did I say? Oh, taxes, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times seniors either get deferred taxes or maybe sometimes skip a year, right? If you skip a year in taxes, they probably not gonna come get your house. You know what I mean? They probably gonna let you sit in, but you best believe you want to pay it some way. So it's almost like I heard somebody call it a foreclosure on layaway.
Oh, oh, that don't even sound nice. I don't
it,
like the way that sounds at
it
all.
sound bad. Both words sound bad, like double negative.
And that ain't no positive.
Yeah, because you got to pay them taxes. They're gonna come
Yeah.
get them anyway. You know what I mean? So like when you do that TOD and you hand that house down to that next to that heir,
Mm-hmm.
that heir got to be responsible enough and have enough knowledge, right? That's where that compounded knowledge at dinner tables come in at, right? Got to have enough knowledge to be able to handle this house when you give it to them and be able to say, look, baby, I ain't paid my taxes in 10 years, so when you get this house, be prepared. You know what I mean? Because if not, he just going to spend a lot of money giving that house away.
Absolutely. And you know, when you said that, I was like, oh, you haven't paid taxes in 10 years. I don't even want it.
Or deferred, right? Because
Yeah.
now we're on fixed income, and that's one thing they'll do. They'll defer your taxes to help you out, right?
Or to help themselves to your heirs' money who can afford it, who are still working once you have passed.
Yeah. That's kind of a way of looking at it. I didn't really look at it like that.
Strategy, mate. Strategy.
All right, what's next?
All right. When younger family members inherit property, what's one misunderstanding or mistake you see often?
I guess it was like you said, like we said earlier, not being prepared for the overall responsibility of owning a home, right? So true, you don't have to. So it's two sides of home ownership, right?
Okay.
We got to get to home ownership, right? So that's a whole education process, a mindset that got to change about your spending habits. Now you just can't have bad credit. Now you got to start saving for a down payment. You know what I mean? Those things that if you're 30, 40 years old, those things that you ain't never did that, it's going to be hard to learn how to do that. You know what I mean? It's going to be very hard.
Amen. Because listen, when you helped me buy my first house, and I was like, oh, somebody has to cut the grass.
So that's why I get to that's the second part, right? Now the second part is the maintaining of the house, right?
Yes.
So you learned a lot and you bumped your head and they call you about everything about getting the house was a struggle. Now you gotta figure out how to do it. Now keep the house and maintain the house, right?
Yeah.
So if they ain't ready for that, and you gotta think about it, they're probably getting handed down a 30-year house that had a senior in it for probably 10 to 20 years. So guess what we got? We got a bunch of deferred maintenance.
Yeah.
We got a bunch of old appliances. So when everybody say, "Oh, my house is worth 150 because this house down there sold for 200," I know mine's got to be worth 150. No, but your house still look like 1978.
It's not been upgraded.
Yep.
Maybe it needs a new roof.
Yep.
What's going on with the pipes, the electrical?
Yep. Foundation problems. You know what I mean?
Because I was joking earlier about the grass, but I never in a million years would have thought that shopping around for somebody to remove a tree would have been like part of something that I'm like budgeting for.
Yeah.
Or shopping shopping around for a roofer because I need to replace the roof on this house, right? Yeah. But so there's that. Going back to you said the two sides of home ownership. So I have this house you helped me purchase, but then my parents are also getting up in age and they're talking about creating trusts, wills, TODs, however they're gonna go about transferring their houses over to me. And I'm like, oh, I'm an only child.
Another house?
do I want two more? Like, I am one person. What do I need 3 houses for? Right? And
for sleep for mailbox money.
Listen, I'm telling you, and you know the one you helped me purchase isn't even in the city. Yeah. So now we're talking about.
And do you have a single family in there now?
I do.
Okay.
I do. And
at one time you had 4 doors, right?
Yes, and I listen, I only ran into that brick wall one time, and I learned that lesson.
So that's the beauty of investing in renting. And we go back to compound knowledge, right?
Yes.
We gotta have these conversations because on social media everything is beautiful. This dude flying over here, flying over there. He ain't worried about none of that. But you know now, firsthand knowledge, that dude ain't showing you everything, right? He ain't showing you the headaches, right? But it also comes down to systems and management, right? So
Absolutely.
the more we have these stories, the more you tell me about the more you tell me about your story, the more my experiences may bring a solution to you, right?
Yeah.
So if we start to think about this and we start to hang around other homeowners, other landlords, and start having real landlord conversations, all of this shit gets easier.
Well, listen, I am trying something new with this one tenant. So her lease is coming, her 1 year lease coming to an end, and I decided, let's offer her a 2 year, and then what I was thinking about going up for 1 year, just times two that, offer a 2 year lease at a 2 year increase for the one time, and we'll see how that goes. Like, part of me, I'm still like, ooh, did I make the right decision? Yeah. I don't know, but leases are signed and the ship has sailed. But
so you're already in action then.
Yeah, I'm already in action, but in the moment I'm like, okay, how do I in a way it's like, how do I protect myself from being in a situation where, like, because I move a lot. So where I'm paying rent in another state where I live because that's where my job took me, but now I have an empty house that still has to have the mortgage paid, right? And so that, to me, that made sense at the time. Like, and it wasn't a quick decision, but the 2 year leases, I've never heard anybody sign a thing like that. But
no, I would say in today's time, 2 year leases benefit the tenant more than it benefits the owner because we don't know where our expenses are headed to, right? I don't think you did a bad thing. You know what I mean? I just think it's something you need to watch. But that's experiences, right? So you try it for 2 years. If it don't work out, I ain't never doing that shit again. You know what I mean?
Listen.
You know what I mean? So
I'm collecting those stories. I ain't never doing that again.
You gotta have L's in order to get better at this shit. You just gotta keep taking L's. All of it is just L. But you fix your system and you fix the way you do things, and now you know how to attack it because the same problem's gonna keep coming.
Yeah, this is
what I mean? You just gotta figure out what stop guards I need to put in place so this doesn't happen again.
I need a blank check is what I need. That's what I need. Have you ever had a client lose their family home? What happened? What would you want others to learn from that story?
Well, shit, I would say we lost our family home. We didn't technically lose it per se. But because of our lack of real estate knowledge, we end up letting it go. So we had a house over here in Kennedy Heights off of Cullen. Big ass house. My dad took a couple years. He added on. We had a corner lot. He added on a 2-story. He probably added maybe about, now that I think about it, it was probably another 1,000 square foot to that house almost. You know what I mean?
It was that's a whole nother house.
Yeah, it was on a corner lot. It was stretched out. I think around my freshman year of high school is when he finished it. But, he puts blood, sweat, and tears in there. We lived in there. I went off to the military. My brother graduated, and my mom and dad ended up getting a divorce, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they ended up getting a divorce. They didn't really know what to do with the house, so they ended up selling it to these We Buy Ugly houses, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And at the time, I also wrapped up in my own life and my own family and everything else. I wasn't really thinking the potential that we could do with this house. So now having one of my good friends that live right across the street that I still go visit, it's tough to go look at that house and watch all those chickens and shit in the yard, you know what I mean? And just see, like, it could have been a potential for a lot of money, right? It could have been family house, could have been legacy, right? But we ended up giving it away. My dad put his blood, sweat, and tears into that house, and we essentially gave it away after it all said and done,
Yeah.
Since we talking about that, something came to mind. As far as as being a homeowner and not necessarily an investor, I know I could bring this down so they're trying to look at it. Well, I want to bring this up as a homeowner. I think sometimes we end up holding on to properties way too long.
Yeah.
Like if you look at Sunnyside, South Park, they bought them houses in the 70s. I don't really know what the appreciation scale went up like, but I'm pretty sure it went up,
Mm-hmm.
and then now it's
Going
down
back
here,
down.
right?
Yeah.
So we hold on to them and we treat them like, oh, they're so cherishable, you know what I mean? But we got to be smart. It's still money. Equity is money, and that's the game that we're after, right?
Mm.
We're not really after these four walls. We're after equity. So when that house shoot up, we got to take our equity and we got to go find something else and find something and make a smart purchase. Yes. Where we catching it on the incline.
Yes.
And when it reaches this peak, we cash out, take that money, go buy something else a little bit bigger. That's how they do it.
Yeah.
We hold on to houses till we lose them to our little brother lose them. I'm not little brother, but little cousin or somebody lose them.
Yeah.
That's way too long to hold on to a house. But we're here now, so we got to do something.
You know what that sounds like? There was a point in time where everybody on social media was getting into the Bitcoin, and people was like, let me show you how to, was it blockchain Bitcoin, one of those, and I'm like, it's sounding like that's the same. It's the same principle or process in terms of keeping up with the market and like real estate, real property, and how to handle that.
You're right, because the basics of investment is buy low, sell high, right?
Yeah.
They don't say buy low and hold on and hold on and hold on. Well,
and hold on and hold on and hold on.
But see, that's the gamble, and that's where these social media experts or whatever get it twisted, right? Because all of the investments, the bitcoins, the houses, the stocks, those are long-term gains, right?
Yes.
And you got to look at it as that, and you got to be smart about which thing that you're doing, right? You just can't say, because a lot of people jumped into Bitcoin, right? That's what you're talking about. And they're like, oh, should I sell? Should I buy? Should I keep holding on? A lot of people got in Bitcoin when it was very low, and when it shot up to here, they cashed out. They said, oh, we made our money. But Bitcoin is still doing this, but every other day is doing this here too. You know what I mean? So you don't really know where the perfect thing at. But as a professional or as a student of your sport or your craft, you need to study your stocks and know what your stock's gonna do, and not worry about what they're talking about on here. Because I bought into Bitcoin when it was a craze. And I said, you know what, man? I ain't got time to be looking at this shit every day. Because if I did, I've been doing stocks on my own, right? It's the same thing. It's a stock.
Yeah.
So I bought mine and I put it on my little digital wallet and I put it in a drawer. And I look at it maybe once every 2 or 3 years. And what it is what it is. You know what I mean? Now, what I should have been doing is dollar cost averaging. Putting a certain amount of money into it no matter what.
Yeah.
Because I was smart, at least smart enough to know that this is a long-term thing, and this thing could continue to go up, right? Right now, it's what, at 140,000 a Bitcoin?
Ooh, that's a lot.
I think I bought in when it was like 60 or something.
And that's kind of late too, relatively, you know?
It is, but that's the same thing. So when we buying houses, we got to understand markets.
Mm-hmm.
A market is not Houston. A market is where we at, Westbury?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, what pops off here in Westbury ain't the same thing that's happening in Harlem Clark or happening off of TC Gesture. So if I buy this house over here, I gotta know that it's a HEB about to come.
Mm-hmm.
I got to see the development going on around, right? I got to see Metro, I'm about to say Martyr. I can see Metro coming down, putting down new bus stops. You know what I mean? That shit coming.
Starbucks, new street signs.
Those are signs.
Markers of gentrification typically is the conversation.
Because what they doing over here now, they got a new taxing they use to improve the area so that they can advertise for more or appeal or make it attractive for more developers to come in. And we have one right there on Alameda and 288. It's called a 5-star district. Something like that.
That sounds so familiar, but I haven't heard it referred to as a...
You see it on the street signs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look up 5-star district.
Okay. And I know that they have certain neighborhoods where they're giving people more. I guess that's the tax incentive for people to move there. 5-star.
I don't.
Five Corners
Yeah,
District.
Five Corners District.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and you'll see it on the street signs.
Created to enhance the physical, social, and economic well-being of the community.
Which meaning this city is attracting gentrification over here. And if you notice down Alameda, you're starting to see new bus stops. You're starting to, huh?
That was like a sound effect. Yeah, that's what it is.
But you got to understand that, right? And then you got to understand that now we got a bunch of crackheads and shit walking down. It's time to get out. How much is my house worth? You know what I mean? That's why you didn't need to always be asking a realtor how much my house worth, because just like your stock.
Yeah, I'm looking into that now because I was like, I'm ready to
You ready to get out already?
No. I'm ready to have that P&I taken off. That insurance.
Oh.
If I had 20% now.
Are you?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I have, what year is it?
You can always pay it
down. Yes, with money.
All they looking for is a check.
That check has the right number on it. There has to be an account with that amount of money in that check. I can't write no Medea checks. All right. So,
did I answer the last question? We just kind of got to talking. What was the last question again?
Have you ever had a client lose their family home? You were the client.
Oh yeah, I was the client. Yeah, it hurt my heart. So, don't lose your family home.
I could only imagine. You know, in ironic sort of way, your best friend lives across the street still, and you can still visit that home. And it may not be you go and you sit and look and think about, shoulda, woulda, coulda, but maybe that's supposed to inspire, spark something in you to get that house back. Because otherwise, why is it still being... It's still in your orbit. It's still in your space. It's still in your universe.
And that could be a mission of mine, so I can make that. And my dad would be proud if I go get it back, Mm-hmm. But the odd part, that family, they grew up there. We grew up together. I went to school with his sisters. He actually went to school with him and my brother are best friends.
Mm-hmm.
And me and his sister went there. But they in like the 90s, mid-90s, their parents actually bought another house on the southwest side, and they kept this house. And they let the kids pretty much stay in it, and she used to come and do her taxes out of it. So it was like her business office, right?
Oh, man, so smart.
So everybody's gone. She still, even the dude that I hang out with, he eventually bought a house way on the north side somewhere. So he just kind of come back and maintain, keep the grass up.
Yeah.
It's a place that's where we go fry our turkeys at for Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? We just hang out there, and then his mom still come back and do taxes. So they've even learned how to expand in this real estate thing. You know what I mean? So his dad passed. So when that all gets done, they're gonna have probably 4 houses in the family.
And you still have that main hub that to bring people back. On an everyday or during tax season, that's that. And then your friend uses it however he does. But then there's still, like you say, fried turkey. That's the family meeting spot so that you don't have to rotate and have a million people at your house.
Exactly.
And then wonder who gonna clean up.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. So then speaking of common spaces for family get-togethers and compound knowledge, what role do you think family stories and memory play into motivating people to protect those assets?
I was about to ask you when we're gonna start talking about you. But
okay,
it's everything, right? So when I talk about, like, I watched my dad build a house, you know what I mean? That's blood, sweat, tears, that's memories, you know what I mean? All of that matters, you know what I mean? That should have mattered to me to hold on to the house even harder, right?
So then what was missing for that lesson to land with you at an earlier age? Like, how do we instill that into this generation now?
Recording it, documenting it, making it what I always say, make it sexy.
Make it sexy. Gosh, how do you Man, this is part of the reason why I do the heritage preservation work I do, and the goal for this podcast and having these conversations, like, how do you make deeds and real estate and like that? How do you make that sexy?
We find the people that did it, and we show them and we celebrate them. Like it's a lot of millionaires out here that's and explain what a millionaire is, right? A millionaire don't make $1 million at his job. A millionaire is a dude that own four $250,000 houses paid off free, cash free. A millionaire ain't these dudes, these rappers flossing, right? A millionaire, you got a plumber that's in somewhere in the hood that own 5 and 6, 7, 8 houses that he really ain't got to do nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We need to highlight those people instead of highlighting these people that spending all the money on the jewelry and the shoes and all this other stuff. Highlight the people that's like, man, you know what I got to do every day? All I got to do is wake up and drive by my 2 houses.
So then I guess the way to frame it is that how do you make $1 million? It's because the money gonna come. It's how do I keep my money?
Yeah.
How do I keep my money and grow the money I have until I have $1 million? Not
It's assets. Like
exactly.
it don't take long. It don't take long to get to $1 million nowadays. Like if I got 4 houses on the ground and I got them paid off, and if we do some strategic math, you can have them houses paid off and they paying themselves, right? So all you gotta do is figure out how to move the shelves and move the money around.
Yeah.
Right. So they paying themselves off. You ain't doing nothing. You just watching this money tree grow, right? So how do I make this money tree pay itself off faster? The faster I pay it off, the quicker I'm at $1 million.
Yeah.
Because I can have my two that I got right now, the way we stagger them and set them up, and use the money, the equity out of one house to fix up the other house.
Yeah.
Still that's tax-free money. I got $100,000, and Uncle Sam can't touch it. Why? Because it was a loan, right? Because I refinanced one house, put that money into this house. Now these houses, of course, I could have walked away with $100,000, but now I'm broke again. I ain't got nothing. But this house paid off cash free, right?
Yeah.
It's paying out $1,700. This house has a mortgage on it for $1,200. If I don't touch these two houses for 10 years, they pay themselves off. They both pay themselves off. So in 10 years,
mad at it.
We'll be worth at least $500,000 richer.
Yeah.
And technically we are there now, right? Because it's still ours. If we need to cash out them, we just go sell them and we get the money, right?
Yeah.
So my goal is to have enough of these little houses around so I ain't got to worry about retirement and all the other stuff that I can say, oh, baby, man, I think you're getting sick. Let's sell this house and get that $100,000 so you pay for your meds. You know what I mean?
Ooh, but it's also so very real to need $100,000 to pay for meds in the way that we're going.
Yeah, the new America, right?
Oof.
So if I got 10 houses and they all cash flowing, and it's after some work, right? Just say they all cash flowing $1,000, right?
Yeah.
So that's $10,000 a month, right? When I say cash flow, I mean after expenses, after insurance, and all that stuff. It's paid off. This 10 years later, everything paid off. If I can all have these houses and I could just say, oh, baby, we want to spend a year traveling. Trade that one in.
Could you really spend a year traveling? Could you really stay away from Houston that long?
Yeah, dude, I don't love Houston like that. I love, and put it this way, I love Houston. I love the old Houston. I don't like the new Houston. New Houston's getting out of control. There's too many people here. They don't have no fucking respect. They drive too fast. Yeah, I'm talking to all of y'all. All y'all that just moved here last week. Remember we used to go, you'll be outside somewhere at the club and you say, hey, what school you went to? Everybody can tell you what school you went to and you know that school, right? Or you know somebody that went there. It's for as large as Houston is, we've always been a small niche city, right?
It's the largest. It's the largest small city.
Yeah, it was
in the country. Yeah, now you go places. I'm not from here. Like nobody's from here anymore.
But you know where I realized this second time I experienced this. The first time is when I moved to Atlanta in '99. That's when Atlanta was on this rise. It was a black mecca, you know what I mean? Freaknik was going on. You had So Def coming up. BMF was in the building.
Oh, you was in the mix.
Yeah,
you was in that Atlanta.
Yeah, I was in that Atlanta. And to go and to be in that Atlanta, then to grow, because I pretty much became a man in that Atlanta, right?
Oh gosh. Okay, we're gonna have to. That's a whole separate episode. Yes. On time.
But I've seen it, even while I was there, the 10 years I was there, you can kind of start to see that it was starting to morph into something different. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because the Olympics in 96. When they came in 96, remember when the Olympics come down, they pretty much changed the landscape. You're going to have new buildings over here. You're going to have this over there. You're going to have a bunch of new people that come here and don't leave.
They seem to find money out of just thin air to reconfigure the entire
it's worth the
city.
investment. If you follow Atlanta from 96, 96, it was a country-ass town. It was all black, but they still had big racial issues, right?
Yeah.
And to see it go from 96 to, what I want to say, just the whole hip-hop era, right? And seeing how it's changing things, to see now that it's a totally international city. When I was there, if you went downtown to Fulton County and you talked to somebody, you couldn't understand nothing he said because he was so damn country. Now you go downtown Atlanta, you can't understand nothing he said because they ain't from America. That's how international it is.
Ooh.
So follow that blueprint. That's why people throw all that money at the Olympics, right? Because it's worth the investment. And Atlanta is the perfect place to see it in our time.
Yeah.
And you think about it, you be like, oh shit, it did. It's changing. It's even changing now.
The next Olympics is in Los Angeles.
That's gonna be a motherfucker.
Listen, because it's like the size of the city it doesn't even hold the population
that's there now.
So, and there's already this issue with people coming from international buyers coming in, building and buying these McMansions, and then it's local folks can't even buy houses because that kind of money isn't in the city for the regular folks, and it's starting to happen here in Houston, where folks are bringing that LA money, that West Coast money to Texas, where folks who born and raised here generationally from the South, generationally from Houston, our cost of living is lower. The assets, the money that we've had to pass down is not as much, so we can't even compete with people coming from outside the region. I do love LA. I used to live there. I didn't miss it until I left. But yeah, we full.
Yeah. I don't know how they're gonna do that. We was in LA last year, I think, and we did like a week and went all around Southern California, but everywhere was gridlock. I remember we went to Sam do comedy, right?
Yeah.
So I took her to the Laugh Factory Sunday night, right?
Oh, you took a chocolate Sunday?
It wasn't Sunday. We was shooting for Sunday, but I think we ended up going like on a Monday or something like that.
Okay.
And it's the point of my story. It was like a Monday or Tuesday at 11 o'clock, and it took us to go from where Comedy Club is all the way to Long Beach, which is really ain't that far, right? No, it's not Long Beach. Santa
Monica?
Santa Barbara. No.
Santa Barbara is far.
What's near Anaheim? Santa something. Santa Ana?
All of these places are far from the Laugh Factory.
They're not that far. All right. Put it this way. I think normally it would probably been an hour drive.
Okay.
Maybe that far. But with that traffic, it was like 3 hours. Then that's just getting out of LA. That wasn't.
And that's just normal, not even on a holiday, just a regular, and not even a weekend. No, it's gonna be ridiculous.
That's like 11 o'clock at night. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's gonna be ridiculous when the Olympics come.
But that's another place where you see a lot of properties getting lost. If you go over there and drive by, we went to the new football stadium.
SoFi?
Yeah, SoFi. We did a tour of SoFi, right, in Inglewood. Man, SoFi is here. SoFi is off the chain. If you ever get a chance, go tour SoFi, because it's so state of the art. They take you behind the scenes and all this other stuff. But the neighborhood is in Inglewood, right? So literally right across the street, you still got old Inglewood, right?
Yeah.
And if you think about it, you got the Forum right here, you got SoFi right here, then you got that other stadium that they building for the Clippers. They all gonna be in one line. So I mean, all of those old houses right there are finna get, or if not already.
So they're doing it to the predominantly black
but if
part
you,
of the
but if you,
county.
but if you think about that part of Inglewood,
Mm-hmm.
that the forum always been there.
That's true.
So you know what I mean. It's not like it's they dumping stuff in the hood. You know what I mean.
Are they building it in the parking lot of the forum?
No, they just
Okay, so they're gonna
expanded the
take
park.
people's houses.
They done already took them.
Okay, well, they already took them. See,
But
well,
I'm just saying the aftermath is going to be when the other people come in and start moving in, like you say, the outside money start coming in
mm-hmm.
and say, oh man, we don't like this shack. We'll take 3 of those, and then they build a McMansion up there. You know what I
And
mean?
they're not even coming in; they're buying them from overseas. These are just business deals, and so you don't get to put a face to a name.
No.
These are people operating on their behalf. And to add to this, so not just gentrification and how natural disasters clear out land and predominantly Black communities affected. I'm specifically speaking about the fires, right? Who do you think is going to be moving back into that area when they start building those houses back? Is it going to be the families that moved back and lost those houses?
No.
Not at all.
Katrina?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? I almost think sometimes I think that they got to switch. Because especially the way Houston weather been lately, I definitely think they playing with that weather modification.
Oh yeah, they've been creating clouds. They've been creating clouds.
Cloud seeding and all that. So I think all that could be a real estate development. Actually, I hate to say it, but they said that about the flood, the recent floods. They were saying
in Houston.
No,
New Orleans.
No, in West Texas.
Oh, in Kerr County, Central Texas flood in Kerr County. Why? The things that they build after these natural disasters, that's not gonna happen again. Are you going to create the infrastructure to make sure that well, there it is.
Yes.
But you couldn't do it before then, now, to save these children.
And you know they say they turn down money and everything. So I don't know.
Okay, so let's talk about some myths.
Myths. Mythbusters.
Yeah, mythbusters. What's a myth about wills, probate, or home transfers that more people need to unlearn ASAP?
A will doesn't fix everything. A will doesn't stop probate. A will has to be a valid will. So those are some of the things we need.
Ooh, what do you mean valid will?
Valid will. It can't,
like you can't just write it down on the back of a receipt.
No. In some places, and
that brown paper bag.
Some people do say you can write wills down, but hey, man, you talking about your legacy.
Yeah.
You talking about a couple 6 figures that you're gonna protect, and all you need to do is pay a couple $100, and you rather go and write it down on a napkin. Come on now, think about the investment as a whole. If you're about to give somebody $200,000 house, $300,000 house, then what's $1,000 to protect the investment?
Yeah, put the same amount of care into making sure everything is in order.
Yeah. And do it now. You know what I mean? I got another saying. Damn.
Come on with the AKisms.
Oh, procrastination is your most expensive contractor.
Ooh, hit us with the.
Which means while you being cheap and don't want to go ahead and pay a true contractor or a true lawyer to get this done the right way, it's end up gonna cost you in the long run. You know what I mean? So you gotta pay. You gotta pay to play.
Now that is the truth.
You gotta pay to play.
So if you could give your younger self one sentence of advice about wealth and legacy, what would it be? One sentence of advice about wealth and legacy. Oh, what would
I don't
that
know
be?
just what you want to hear, but
no, it's not what I want to hear. It's what we need to hear.
Buy dirt now.
No, I could get behind that.
Buy dirt now.
I can afford dirt.
It only gonna appreciate over time. And it's time to value. Did you see what I? Messing up. Yeah, buy dirt now. But did you see that article I sent you on the parking lot. Remember your dad wants to do the
Oh,
thing?
yes.
The,
He wants to do a lot of things. Yes.
a truck. What is it? Well,
It was a truck park,
yeah,
a truck parking lot.
for 18 wheels, right?
Yes.
So that guy ran the numbers. Let me see if I can find it real quick because that was interesting. And I think you need to follow him too, since y'all in that category.
Okay. I did see that, but where are we?
So he said a truck yard, 4 acres, 75 trucks at 200 a month. For him, that's end up being 15,000 a month. And so this guy Drive Team J, that's all he talk about is different. I guess he's a commercial realtor that put a team together that just go out and buy land lots. So he find lots that like this one when we drove in, like man, people ain't using that. So he'll find a lot and bring some value to it somehow. And that's what he do as far as his real estate business.
And you know what's crazy? It's not that hard to do. Like that's when you said that buy dirt now, I can get behind that because where people like buying up all these old containers.
A shipping container.
Yeah, putting a shipping container on there. Somebody a few years ago, one of my friends turned a couple shipping containers into like a little hole in the wall.
Into a club.
You gotta listen. We need to get the HVAC running in here.
In where?
In that hole in the wall.
Oh.
When I went to visit his spot, I was like, I need to cut a couple more squares in this container.
How big was it?
Yeah, I thought that was all the same size.
Oh, so it was just he had like a yard thing. He was outside, right? Okay. So actually, speaking of California, Long Beach, they had speaking of land and lots and finding useful pieces of it, right?
Yeah.
It's called Steelcraft. It's probably still there.
Okay.
They had a big lot and they put a bunch of shipping containers around it where they had a courtyard in the middle. But all of those shipping containers are small fooderies, breweries, winery, or whatever else. But in the middle, they just had a DJ. You just come there, just hang out, just like a food court type of thing. And they come and go you know what I mean? So he has no physical building. But these people can come and go as they need to, right? If they want to sit here and they can't last a year or whatever, or they want to sit here for a year and let people try this shit out before they go open a brick and mortar, that's the type of place to do it. It was a nice place too, Steelcraft in Long Beach.
It's a good half step for startups. It's just something about the West Coast being a good spot to experiment and be creative in those different kind of like culturally.
Because outside is beautiful in California.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, no, I was just when you were describing that, I just coming back from Bellingham, Washington. There's a place like that. It's a lot rainier up in that part of the world, but there's this beautiful sort of like shipping container park. Same concept. Same concept. I don't know. I don't know how that would work out in Houston. Where people are big on like food trucks here, food truck parks and stuff like that.
I think if somebody do it, I think I'm pretty sure there's one around here somewhere as big as Houston is. But I think somebody do it. But we just gotta be creative, right? Grandma got a piece of lot. We just can't have this old house on here. What are we gonna do? If it's some acres somewhere outside, figure out something to do with it. You know what I mean? Start if it's far enough in the country, call the cell phone company and say, hey, y'all want to put a cell phone tower on my thing? Because them cell phone towers pay money.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that back up. I might look into that. What do you want to see Black and brown families doing more of in the next 5 years?
Talk real estate.
Okay.
That's just to see my answers are simple.
talk real estate.
But just talk real estate. Let's just have the conversation. Hey, mama, how did you buy this house? You know what I mean? Hey, son, well, this is what I had to do. How much you have to put down? Whoa, that's a lot of money. How did you save that much money? Because you did it, then I can do it too, right? Being a homeowner is something that we should celebrate and something that we should acknowledge, and we should tell our kids how we got here. Because we wait till they're damn 20 years old and they got $100,000 debt on their back from college student loans, it's going to be hard to do that.
Yeah.
But if you could tell them, like, if your goal is to own a house, and if you can't pay for your own way through school, then maybe you shouldn't go to school. Or maybe you should just go here to HCC. Or maybe you should do something else. Because the way AI is going, I don't think degrees are going to be useful in the next couple of years. So go out and find you, become a plumber.
Where my camera?
Find you a plumber.
You know, I'm glad you brought that up because when I remember we were looking at, we was looking at a house off of Griggs, and my mom came with me that time. And you asked me like, well, where did I get that number from, right? And I was just like, oh, well, I remember when my mom was buying her house, just listening to her on the phone. I don't know who she was talking to, but I know she said something about $10,000. So in my head, I was like, okay, I need $10,000.
Yeah.
And that was it. And you know what's crazy? She didn't even know, like when we were looking at houses, she didn't even know I had $10,000 because after you left, we got in the car. She's like, where you get $10,000?
That's why I didn't tell you.
No, like I was just saving. I didn't know. I was saving. I had no goal for this money. I was just saving, and there was nothing I was just passionate about that I wanted to dip into that money for. And I was like, I'm gonna buy a house. And I think what else went into that was because we were in a pandemic or COVID.
Coming out, I think.
Yeah, coming out of the pandemic and COVID, and I was like, oh shoot. The sense of urgency for me was because I was just now thinking about real estate or home ownership or property ownership. And I was watching the news and they were talking about interest rates and how people were
panicking.
Yeah, panicking. But then you had this other group of folks who were like buying houses really cheap during the pandemic. But then there were also landlords who were struggling to get their money from tenants. But the thing that stuck out to me was like, okay, so interest rates are good now, and I'm not too late, especially having conversations with people who are buying homes today. I was like, oh, man, I don't know if that was a sweet spot, but I ain't mad at my interest rate.
No. You can't never be mad. You're never going to be able to guess the interest rate. It's like a falling knife.
I would love 2%.
Yeah. But 2% comes with a lot of problems in America, right? I mean, the only time ever it was close to 2% was 3%, and we was all in a pandemic. Any other times that was close to that, we was either in some sort of economic crisis. Half the people lost their jobs. So that's when I bought my house in 2008. Lucky for me at that time, I had a secure job. So when the interest rates dropped to 3, I didn't jump in because they were 3. I didn't.
You weren't thinking about
I wasn't
interest
thinking
rates,
about no interest rate. You know what I mean? And so I jumped in, and I was able to afford it. But at the same time, a lot of people losing jobs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And unfortunately, 2 years out there, I lost my job, right? So.
Woo! These stories and how they're just aligning up. By the way, my interest rate is I think it's 3.6.
Yeah, because you was smart. You was hammering them. I remember that.
I ain't mad about listen. I recently had a conversation with someone else. So she's like, yeah, my interest rate is 8%. Oh, my. I was like, can you still get out of the deal?
So another part, if I had to go back to answer one of your questions, another thing that you should do is pay attention to your credit. Yeah. Credit can cost you more. Like at that time, if you bought the same time you bought, her interest rate is probably going to be 6 or 7. Well, I wouldn't say it. Some people, based on your credit score, like you got 3%, somebody could get 6 just because their credit score is screwed up, or 5 or whatever. That costs you a lot of extra money. Because the hidden thing that, maybe I shouldn't be saying this, we're going to mess with my buyers. But,
unhide it.
The hidden thing that most people don't think about in real estate and buying a house is how much interest you pay over that time, over that 30 years. That'll make you sick to your stomach.
That was the only thing I was thinking about. That was the only thing. I was like, I will pay this money, principal, I just want to pay what I owe. Yeah. But I understand, if you have to borrow, they're going to want something on top of that. Yeah. And so, just the cost of doing business. But that was the only thing I was thinking about. Like, what percentage of this money... What percentage of free money is a tip?
Yeah, you gotta look at it. So that's an itemization chart. You look at that and you see how in the beginning you ain't paying a lot on your principal, and everything is interest, but then it flips over after 30 years because 30 years is a long time. Yeah, and that's why you got these people that go out here and they say, "Oh man, my bank gonna let me refinance." Dude, if you like in year 15 plus, you really should look at your refinance options because they just want you for another 15 years worth of interest. Figure out how much that is and figure out is it worth you pulling that money out before you refinance.
Well, hold on now, because if you do that, and let's say you do a 30-year, and then that decreases the payments, but you're able to afford to pay twice because you have a longer loan, then does that half the amount of time back to 15? You pay it off sooner, or does that take off the interest?
I don't know. We got to bring in a mortgage guy for that because that's going to get kind of tricky. My thing is, unless you really, really need it, leave it alone.
Yeah. Fair.
Now that's one of the beautiful options of having a home, right? Because if something happens, you can't always refinance. You still got to qualify, right? You still got to have a job. You still got to have good credit.
But you have the option.
But you got the option, right? When you're at that apartment, you ain't got the option of not paying because they're going to put you out and they're not going to care at all. So
not even a little bit. All right, so the last thing. Complete this sentence. Protecting the family home is blank.
Protecting the family home is mandatory because it ain't yours to give away. Your predecessors worked hard for it. They decided want to give it to your funky ass. Then you need to make sure it's mandatory that you take care of it. You know what I mean? If not, that's why having these conversations is important, right? If not, well, Grandma, man, I was really thinking about moving to Arizona. I don't really think I want to deal with this house. But Grandma, what you could do is sell this house so that you get into a senior living facility or somewhere so you can be comfortable. May not be senior living, but take this 30 or 40 grand and go do the best you want to do with your life. And she's like, nah, baby, I want to give it to you so you can start your record label.
What?
Or you go blow it on some reels. But if you take that money that she give you, say, I always tell my seniors, man, have a great time, man. You know what I mean? Fuck them kids. Kids ain't shit. Fuck them kids.
And for those of you wanting to start that record label or just get into music, for those of you in Houston, okay, check out your TechLinks at the Houston Public Library. You don't have to convert your grandma's garage, house, closet into a record studio. There are free music recording studios here at the Houston Public Library at the TechLink Studios. Soundproof, yes. What is it? The engineer rooms there. They have instruments. They have everything you need. Please don't sell Mama's house.
We got this podcast studio
right here.
Right, all the technology ain't none of this mine. I ain't pay for none of it. You know what I mean?
Hit me with the horn.
We ain't pay for none of this shit.
Yeah.
But you gotta get your library card. They also have a video room, right? A video room with the whole green screen, so you can go in there and get home, throw some AI in there, and you can be wherever you want to be. You can be Aladdin flying across the sky. I'm gonna go check that out.
Yeah, me too.
Do something in there.
For sure. I might be in there tomorrow if they have a spot open, but yeah.
Not far from the house either. Where we at? We at that's not Stellar Link. Where we at?
We are at the Walker Branch. On Chimney Rock.
Yeah. Dope location, y'all. But don't tell everybody because then it's gonna be long.
I know, right?
We gotta go. They kicking us out.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next time.
Talk to you later. Let's get these keys.